You're back for more great science fiction here on BuzzChomp, and I'm previewing the new HBO Max series, Raised by Wolves. I'm Dan Salem, and this show is going to be a true mind trip.
I'm Mandi.
I'm Dan.
Subscribe to
BuzzChomp.
Woo!
Imagine a world where we've escaped Earth and have to try to repopulate humanity on an unknown inhabitable planet. There are androids involved, and therefore, this is classic Ridley Scott. If he didn't just direct the pilot, you would never know it. He actually isn't the creator of Raised by Wolves. His sci-fi love seems to be infused throughout this series. It's totally in the first episode and in the setup and in the premise. So it's technically, he didn't create it and write it, but it might as well be his essence. We have two androids, the mother and the father, who are given a group of human children to raise on a remote planet that is habitable because they escaped Earth. That's the basic setup. These androids, which look and breathe and act like humans, are raising the human children. But they are humans, and they're learning about humanity along the way. And that's kind of the great thing. Ridley Scott loves to do this in his other works, and it seems like we're going to get it in this series where you have learning about what it is to be human while teaching humans about what it is to be human. And as an android, you can learn about humanity, and it's a playback on ourselves and what have we done right, what have we done wrong? Because they are basically restarting society with a whole new group of young, impressionable children. And based on the product of their environment, these androids will get to mold them into a new race of humanity that can live and breathe and succeed on its own. Except, of course, it doesn't work out. And so it's a raised by wolves type of situation where you're taking children, and there's always that fable of leaving them in the woods to be raised by wolves, and they become like the wolf. It's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but you can't reintegrate into modern, regular humans when you've been raised by wolves because you are the wolf. Well, the androids aren't quite humans, and so they're raising these children, but with their own inherent mechanical, I'll put in quotes, beliefs, because we don't really know without seeing the series yet how human these androids are. And that really is going to have a bearing on where they'll fall. And rather quickly, the larger sect of humanity comes to the planet to retrieve the children. Now these androids, the mother and the father, there's only two that we know of to start with. They're supposed to protect these kids. Therefore, they aren't going to hand them over willingly to an unknown group of human beings just because it's humans and humans. We don't know if we can trust those other humans. We do know that the androids are trying to protect the kids. So that's an altruistic motive. These other humans feel like they should be the ones. Humans should be raising human kids, not these androids. Well, we don't know if they're the best people to raise it. I mean, in principle, the androids could do a better job as mom and dad for these children than the humans who are just desperate to survive and fighting amongst themselves. So there's a little bit of a war brewing. I get the impression that the mother, father with the group of children are on a planet that is one of the very few that anyone can actually live on because Earth is gone. So this group of humanity that comes to, quote, save its kids might really just be coming there because there's nowhere else for them to live. Perhaps they're like space pirates traveling around trying to find a place where they could actually settle. And this is a remote island, if you will, with children. Oh, there are kids. Let's steal them. I don't know. But there's going to be a bad guy element because there's always a good and a bad, right? And some shows have everyone good, everyone bad, and it's a muddled mess, but they flip-flop. So there's always your hero that you're rooting for. And in this case, I think it's our mother-father. The androids are our heroes. They're the ones protecting children, protecting humanity's future. Then there are the villains, but the villains can be good and can be bad. HBO, and this is an HBO Max series, has kind of tended that way recently. You see it with His Dark Materials. We're seeing it with Lovecraft Country. The villains are both good and bad. There is no black and white. It's gray. And I have a feeling we're going to get very similar here with the wolves because wolves as a species, now this is like a dichotomy title, right? The human children are being raised by wolves a la the androids. But wolves are very comforting, nurturing, very team-oriented, a pack species. But they also are very aggressive, mean, and kill. Perhaps the wolves are also the other humans coming to this planet to take their kids back. Do we leave the children to the wolves, the other humans, or do the mother, father, androids protect them? So we kind of almost who's the wolves? The androids or the other humans? We don't know yet. It's very interesting. Cool sci-fi tech here, a new planet, an android species that we have to get to know. Can they reproduce? That might go that path. We don't know. In classic sci-fi fashion and Ridley Scott fashion, This is a big, epic battle for the survival of a species. And really probably the survival of two species. Because it doesn't get the impression there's a lot of androids. And there are definitely not a lot of humans that we know of. Is there a giant spaceship somewhere full of humanity and androids and they're just trying to repopulate this particular planet? We don't know. Seems small ball, which is cool because the stakes are super high then for those involved. I don't know what the stakes for the other humans are. We don't know why they want the children. Not quite sure how involved the children will be in the overall story. Are they just going to be protected or are they going to be key main characters? Very interesting to see where this plays out. What other creatures live on this planet? Is it the animals we know? Is it the dinosaurs? Could be really anything. It's got to be have animals on the planet. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a habitable world. I'm assuming there's water. So there are a lot of cool things that we'll get to know as we learn about this universe. This Earth 2, I'm going to dub it until they give us a name. And the androids who are just mother and father at the moment. I'm Dan Salem. I'm very excited for Raised by Wolves. It's just dark, gritty science fiction. We don't get enough of this, and this is something new. HBO Max for those that want it. Comment below with your thoughts on this new series and where you think it's going to go. It's great sci-fi, right? Woo!
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo!